My name is D-Free, and today we are highlighting some of the most underrated characters that you, yes you, should be using in PvP. Without further ado, let's hop in. First up, I want to show you guys some characters that you want to really be focusing on when it comes to either using on your teams or building your teams to play against or around. In no particular order are the characters you see on my team on the top / on the screen. Also the full Ginyu Force team. Also want to throw a shout out to LF Cell, the new Namek Super Saiyan LF Goku. Those are all the main threats in PvP. Now, today's video is about the underrated characters to use against or alongside some of those threats, and let's show you the first one. Yesterday, I tweeted out a question asking the exact topic of today's video, and that was, what are some underrated characters people should be using? And it was pretty reassuring to see this guy brought up a few times. This guy is a brand new character, came out a couple of months back with the new LF Cell, and I've got to say, he wasn't great then, but his value is really starting to shine through. Well, what does this guy do in particular that's very valuable? Well, first and foremost, if you didn't notice, there were a lot of blues on that list. There's that new Goku, there's Zenkai 17, there's the Frieza version of the Goku and Frieza character, there's Trunks. So greens are kind of in style right now. Greens are making a little bit of a resurgence. Next, when it comes to this guy, his primary role is to be an absolute wall. So let's go ahead and break down what this guy is doing that is so effective in the current meta. The following effects occur when changing cover. He gets extra special move damage and also goes neutral. Activates 3 times, so he can actually wall off any character basically whenever he's performing a character. It says nullifies own unfavorable elements for 10 counts 3 times, reduces a Dragon Ball only 1, but that might save you a rush. Also, when he is hit with an enemy's strike, blast, or blue card while he's out there, he restores health by 3% and gives allies a support buff, while also giving allies a health restoration buff and doing a debuff on enemies for key recovery and doing a no switch effect as well when the attack is over. Also, when he switches out, he has some further support that you may benefit from, and that's all just kind of utility stuff. On top of the fact that he is a natural wall, he starts off with 60% damage cut. He also starts off with a very high health restoration bonus and another 15% damage cut as well for the first 60 counts. So the design choice for this guy, pretty interesting. All utility all the time, little bit of support in there. Also can stack to do some decent damage. But the point is, because there's a lot of blues right now, he is one of the only characters that can effectively wall some of them off, and also heals when he gets hit, so he can offset the damage that he would take. Easily one of the most underrated characters that people should be using. However, the caveat to that is, when it comes to characters designed like him that are defense type characters, that are built around having high defensive stats or high HP stats or some combination of both, you really typically will need higher stars, so you probably aren't going to start reaping the benefits of what this guy can do until he gets above 6 or 7 stars and into red star range territory. That is a caveat. Yes, that applies to every character, but some more than others. Obviously, every character gets better with more stars. So that is the idea for Gohan. Now, in terms of the equips that you would want to focus on him, it really depends what you have. But my point is, if you can use equips that have HP/defense, that is your goal. Your goal is not really to offensively incline this character. What you want to do is give him equips that have HP and defense as the combination, and that would really make him pop overall. Something like this is a very solid equip for him, also because he does get that special move damage increase, things like that. So just go with what you have, build your box around that. Next, for teams. Kind of versatile on the teams right now. Kind of comes down to what you want to do. You can build a Sun Family team and slot him alongside Goku and Frieza. You can also put him on a hybrid team. You can do multiple things with him. So let me know what you chose to do. Now, this is the exact opposite end of the spectrum. This one comes from Billy. He says that he played a few games with him, and yeah, he did work. He's risky, however. Yeah, he is going to be risky. So Cooler is interesting because he always pops when there's a Super Saiyan meta. This guy is a character that has immense buffs versus Super Saiyans, and you may be wondering what he does in particular that's pretty powerful. Look at how many effects he has, you can imagine. Let's go ahead and break it down really quick. So, starting off with Cooler. Again, the problem with some of these characters, I just want to say this now, and we'll see this a little bit more as we go in when I mention some other characters. The problem with some of these characters is the sheer fact that there's other characters you probably would want to use. For example, Red Pan. Probably also, by the way, using Red Pan with Goku and Frieza with that Gohan I just showed, probably a really good trio. Anyway, Red Pan, might just want to use her over Cooler. But if you're looking for a more offensively inclined character, Cooler is the choice. So what is Cooler doing? Upon landing a strike, he does a bunch of different things, like almost a pseudo lock-in by doing the sub-count effect on the enemies there. And then here's a fun thing that's kind of happening for Cooler right now. So plus 20% damage inflicted against Super Saiyans. Also, when he enters the battlefield versus Super Saiyans, right here, this is what happens. Also applies or nullifies own unfavorable element factors for 10 counts if there is a Super Saiyan battle member. So what that means is Cooler pops off and goes neutral versus Super Saiyans. So he will shred any character, but he's kind of iffy or sketchy because he is only going to be that neutral character for that time period. And there are strong Super Saiyans in the meta, like the new Goku or the Super Saiyan Trunks that got a Zenkai during the anniversary. And also he would shred yellow characters too. So he's in an interesting position, kind of underrated. It's dealer's choice if you want to use him. In terms of equips, you want to go for more offensively inclined equips. They're going to go ahead and provide more firepower for this guy. In terms of design choice or teams, you probably are best off maybe using him on an LOE team, Lineage of Evil. And then this is where, once again, and I mentioned it before in the very beginning, we are going to be plugging in one of those characters or one or multiple of those characters from that earlier list and building a team for him. So these two and probably purple First Form Frieza's LF is going to be the desired choice for the third character. It's also up to you what the third you want to use. You can use Chilled or something like that. Chilled also could kind of low-key be on this list too, right now, maybe. I guess if they're using Bardock, which most teams aren't, but it is what it is. So anyway, that's what you're looking for. Let me know what you guys chose to do if you choose to use Cooler. Hey, D-Free, have they liked the video yet? I don't know, D-Free, have they liked it? I don't know. Well, maybe if they do, they'll get a super special freebie in their gift box. When they log in, will they get 2,000 Chrono Crystals for free? I don't know. You tell me. Are we even allowed to sanction that? I don't know. Okay, well, anyway, maybe it's up to you. Give it a try. Maybe you'll get that if you hit that thumbs up. All right, so next on our list, cringe aside, is Super Saiyan Blue Goku. And EX is on the list. So this guy is pretty awesome. He's a really, really strong character. So this guy is a character, unfortunately, because he's an EX character, he's got some defense that he's kind of reliant on too. He is probably the only character on this list that needs stars to the extent that he does, because being an EX character does gimp his overall stats. These numbers aren't anything phenomenal, but what is a Goku doing? First and foremost, being a green right now, I really, really want to put value in that because there's a lot of blues. There's a lot of blues right now. And there's a trickle-down effect because those blues are being designed in a way or are built in a way where they're trying to deal with Vegito Blue, right? And since that's the case, with the red kind of falling off a little bit, you obviously are going to want to pair Vegito Blue with a green character. So that's where some of these characters even get brought up, right? So there's a trickle-down effect because they're trying to deal with the red, so they're bringing more blues, but that means that the greens get more increased, and then so on and so forth. You get the point. All right, so Goku here on the main ability increases Dragon Balls and gives you Rising Rush. This is crazy, by the way. Crazy combination. This is almost a guaranteed kill. If you didn't have a rush, if you were one Dragon Ball away, you could forcefully make it happen. And assuming there's no Goku and Frieza or somebody else that can stop a Rising Rush, like a Cover Rescue or something, you're gonna kill that character, right? Especially if you had to lock in or anything like that. What else is the Goku doing here? He's absolutely doing bonus damage to blues, so that's also nice. Like I just said, there is increased value in the blues. He has high amounts of damage cut at 60%, high health restoration as well, and also when he enters the battlefield, he gets another 10% cut, randomly destroys a card, seals a green, and then further down when he's defeated, he gives damage and key recovery to his allies. Also, when he changes cover, he draws a green twice, and also will get damage to allies again. Randomly destroys 3 enemy cards, reduces enemies' Dragon Balls by 1 3 times, so complete and utter annihilation of the opponent. Gonna forcefully just end that combo. Also, when this character enters the battlefield, if there is a defeated ally, he gives himself damage, allies key recovery, and also a cost debuff on enemy. So ultimately, with this guy, you have some crazy combination. It's kind of similar to the Gohan, actually. We've got crazy ability to tank or disrupt the opponent with card destruction or Dragon Ball removal, and this guy's doing that multiple times, unlike the Gohan, in fact. Also, forcefully giving you a Dragon Ball is pretty insane, like I talked about. He's got a lot of support in this kit. He's got defeated buffs. This guy is awesome. So ultimately, what teams are you going to want to use him on? Kind of comes down to you, like I've been mentioning. But before we do that, I want to kind of talk about equips. So Goku's in a weird spot because he has the defeated buffs, but I do think you want to keep him alive long enough to get the value out of him multiple cover changing. So I would still build him as a defensive character primarily. You can maybe give him a little bit of a mixture of offense and defense. You can do that for Gohan too, but I would probably still build him mostly as a defense first character. Next, moving on for the team that you want to build. Again, I want to keep pointing this out there, but Goku and Frieza are probably, I just want to say they're the best character in the game. My opinion was that VB was it, but right now I think it's them because the way that the game has shifted away from VB a little bit. And so with that being the case, the best team is going to have the best character. Now, if you don't have them, then obviously you have to make do with what you have. And the next best character to put alongside this Goku specifically is going to wind up being VB because they're red-green synergy. Also, he will help deal with those blues. Also does bonus damage to the blues, like I said, can wall them off, the Rising Rush stuff. And so the fun thing with that combination, ignoring this character, but the fun thing with this too is that there's a lot of Rising Rush control there too, with the removal or outright sealing of it. So you want to build a team around these two specifically. And if you do have Goku and Frieza, they are the ideal third in my opinion. So keep that in mind. All right, let's move on to the next one on the list. And this one comes from the homie Goresh. And he gave us Yellow Perfect Cell. Yellow Perfect Cell is an interesting character. His problem is that he's going to be hard-walled by the Gammas. So if you have the Gammas, you should just use them because the Gammas are easily like, if they're not top 5, they're like right on that fringe. So they're an ultra good character right now, especially with Reds kind of falling off a little bit. And, you know, that means that there's a trickle effect like I was saying there. So anyway, Yellow Cell, what is he doing? The double cover rescue is nice. He also has a little bit of support that he offers. He also has some fun stuff like special cover change nullification. He also has the blast armor on the ultimate now, which has faint chance, which is pretty strong. He also down here has a really strong effect. Whenever he uses a strike or blast card, he shortens ally sub count by 10. Typically you see these on effects where characters themselves get hit, not on an offensive variation of this. So what this means is that mid combo, this could turn into something nasty, because you could probably switch, and then when he switches out, he does provide some extra ki and damage. It's not very much, but it's enough to extend the combo, right? So things can get pretty sketchy pretty fast if you're playing against Cell. So keep that in mind. Best team for him is going to be Android. I'm not really going to pull that up, but the ideal characters to use alongside him would be the new Cell and Android 17, two of the best characters in the game. And in terms of equips, you want to go full offense with the focus on strike attack. All right, let's move on to the next character on my list, and this is actually a character that I don't even personally own, but I acknowledge that he is a super duper niche character now that I think more people should probably run, and that is Yellow Roshi. The problem with this guy is, like I mentioned with Cell and a couple others, and why they don't get used, and which has actually made them hidden gems, like the point of today's video, so there's that, full circle, is that he is hard walled off by Jiren. So Jiren also had a little bit of a period where he became kind of sketchy to use, but that's no longer the case because there's enough around Jiren to make him work really well. So these guys are on the same team unless you're running something like Super Warrior, I guess, which more power to you if you are. Anywho, what is this guy doing? Character sealing. Unique effect, the only character in the game. I don't need to highlight anything else he does because that effect is insane. The Mafuba / evil containment wave does as follows. Seals the enemy's character on hit if all of the following conditions are met. There are at least 2 enemy battle members remaining. The damage does not cause the enemy to be defeated. It also does not cause an enemy to revive, so on and so forth. There's a lot of text in here. But anyway, Roshi eliminating a character from play is insane, by the way. It does so many things to the opponent. Takes a character away from them that they can switch into or cover change into or things like that. Takes an extra vanish away from them because that just is insane if you could do that from them early, especially early in the game. Things like that. And you may lock their best character, so on and so forth. And when that character comes back, it's going to be a 1v2, 1v3, whatever situation that you have to try to recover from if you're the player that got the seal on you. There's so many uses on it. Insane effect. So overall, I'm not really going to talk too much about Roshi because, like I said, he's kind of shut down. But what you want to do is run him ideally on a Universe Reps team with Goku and Frieza. That is the ideal choice. But again, that Jiren resides there, so it just is what it is. Maybe you run Yellow. You might get away with that. You may be able to get away with that. So speaking of Universe Reps and Jiren's team, another character that released with Jiren that is extra strong and is probably going to see an uptick in usage and value is Kiawe. Kiawe is a character that is, so like these new characters that came out as recently as the anniversary are not power crept in any way. It's just more so opportunity. Like, you could take Kiawe into any match still today and absolutely cook with her. The damage she does is pretty strong as a support character. Also, the green card doing the extra support for allies, just flat 30%, is actually insane because you could just give it no matter what, whenever you want. It's uncancelable. Restoring their health too, and the other stuff she does here, like reducing the vanish gauge. Absolutely cracked card here. And then the double vanish she has, and then the ultimate reload, I believe is on the ultimate. She just does a lot of stuff. She nullifies endurance too, which you typically don't see on these side banner characters. Again, support character, so there's other support stuff in her kit. Kiawe is awesome, dude. Shortens her own sub count by 2 by default. I forgot she did that. Shortens ally sub count 7 times whenever the enemy uses an arts attack while this character's out there. Remember, I said this is typically defensive. That adds more value to Cell's version, but to each their own. And also, forcefully drawing a card on switch out is crazy for the combo extension. Kiawe, also, like I said, with the blues being in the meta right now, is an absolutely insane character that can cook for sure, for sure, for sure. I talked briefly about the Ginyu Force, but I want to shout out these guys specifically. Obviously, Ginyu was the best character on that team, but they are the next best character, and I don't even think it's particularly close. I like the Birder and Jace, but this character has so much value because they're doing some of the things that other modern defense characters that we brought up in this video are doing, where they're eating hits and healing it back. Crazy, crazy value. And so, shout out to them and their team. The full Ginyu Force team is going to be a threat, I think, for a very long time. They don't rock an LF or anything like that, but do not sleep on this character for sure. I wanted to bring them up because they are on our list. And speaking of our list, that actually concludes the main characters that I personally wanted to show. So for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to show you guys some of the replies that I got to today's question. Be sure to follow me on Twitter by scanning the QR code or by clicking the link down below in the description so you guys can join in next time I put one of these out. So I asked, what is one unexpected / underrated or hidden gem character in the current DB Legends PvP meta? So the first answer was Green Fabu with UVB. And I replied, this is just toxic, because it is. So Yellow Perfect Cell, we mentioned this one already. Yellow Roshi, he's on my list already. Gode says here, current underrated character is Gohan. We talked about him. I did mention that Billy was the one that gave the idea for the cooler. He also does show his team here. So, like I mentioned, some of those characters are ones you want to focus on using. Tag 4s. Maybe. Green Future Gohan on this setup, good counter for the new Goku in Blue 17. Trunks handles UVB and Go Frieza fights Go Frieza. But this guy was still pretty insane because he had the neutrality, he had that green card that just would lock a character out, things like that. He also did bonus damage to androids, so definitely an underrated character to consider. Probably, if I had thought of him, he would have been on my list, to be honest. EX Green Goku, the Boo Bros. Boo Bros. Bro, hold on, they ain't doing a damn thing. Stop lying. Stop the cap. They ain't doing a damn thing in these matches. Get out of here. Look at that team. They ain't doing a damn thing. All right, and some other characters we already highlighted. Kiawe getting a lot of love in this post. All right, Blue Bootangs. Oh, that's my sign to end it. We were going to end it anyway, but we especially have to there. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys found this video informative and helpful. If you did, hit the thumbs up. And remember to subscribe to the channel if you are new. And follow on Twitter, all that fun stuff. I'll see you all next time, guys.